Dear friend, imagine waking tomorrow with complete command over every word you speak, every emotion you feel, every dollar you spend, and every thought in your mind. It may seem impossible, but over 2,000 years ago, a wise man believed this was not only achievable, but the true path to a life of freedom. That man was Epictetus, born into slavery. Picture this. He had no control over his own body, no freedom to move, no voice in his circumstances. He was owned by another. Yet, this man discovered a profound strength that transformed him from a physical slave into one of history's greatest teachers of mental and emotional freedom. He taught that no one can harm you unless you allow it. This may sound challenging, especially for those enduring real pain. But Epictetus meant that while we cannot control everything that happens, we can control our responses. In those responses lies our true power. Today, most of us are not physically bound, but many remain trapped by uncontrolled words, emotions, spending habits, and thoughts. We say things we later regret. We let our moods ruin entire days. We spend money thoughtlessly on things we don't need. We allow our minds to spiral into fear, doubt, or worry. But what if the wisdom that freed a Roman slave could free you? What if the areas where you feel most out of control, your words, moods, finances, and thoughts, could become your greatest strengths? The ancient Stoics understood something we've overlooked. True wealth is not measured by money, but by self-discipline. Real power comes not from controlling others, but from mastering yourself. And genuine freedom is not about having endless choices, but about consistently making the right ones each day. Life offers you daily opportunities to practice this. When someone cuts you off in traffic, it's a chance to govern your words and emotions. When tempted to buy something unnecessary, it's an opportunity to assert control over your finances. When your mind spirals into fear or doubt, it's a moment to reclaim authority over your thoughts. The beauty of Stoic philosophy is that it doesn't demand perfection. Even Marcus Aurelius, the most powerful man in Rome, struggled with these challenges. In his journal, he reminded himself daily, "You have power over your mind, not external events. Realize this, and you will find strength." This isn't about becoming emotionless, but about becoming so steady that external chaos cannot shake you. When you control your words, you speak with purpose, not impulse. When you master your emotions, you choose your state of mind rather than being a victim of it. When you manage your finances, money becomes a tool for peace, not a source of stress. And when you command your thoughts, you guide your mind instead of being imprisoned by it. In the next few minutes, you'll discover the 4 pillars of personal power. We will explore timeless wisdom that remains profoundly relevant, and you'll gain practical tools to apply immediately. But you must commit fully. Each section builds on the last, so stay engaged. Join me step by step, and I promise this can transform your life. If you're ready to take charge of your life, show your commitment. Share in the comments which of these 4 areas, words, emotions, money, or thoughts you find most challenging. Stay tuned, as this journey to self-mastery is just beginning. Encourage someone else to join, because true power starts with you. I am the master of my words, emotions, finances, and thoughts. First, mastering your words, the gateway to wisdom. An ancient proverb says, "The tongue is small, but its harm can be immense. Yet, many fail to realize this. Your words don't just affect others, they shape the person you are becoming. Seneca, a great Roman Stoic philosopher, spent years observing the power of words in the Roman Senate. He saw careers built or ruined by a single sentence. He witnessed friendships broken by careless remarks and alliances formed through thoughtful communication. But his deepest lesson came from his own life. Seneca wrote, "Every new beginning comes from the end of another." This is especially true of our words. Each time you speak, you close one chapter of yourself and start another. The question is, are you becoming someone you respect? Recall the last time you spoke in anger and regretted it moments later. In that moment, you felt the power of uncontrolled words. They escaped before wisdom could intervene. Now, imagine reclaiming that power. Picture every word you speak being chosen with care, not blurted out impulsively. The Stoics developed a simple yet profound method, the pause, before speaking. Especially when emotions run high, they paused and asked 3 questions. Is this true? Is it helpful? Is it kind? If the answer to any was no, they stayed silent. But mastering words isn't just about holding back negativity. It's about using positive words purposefully. When you offer sincere praise, you not only brighten someone's day, but also train yourself to see the good in life. When you speak words of encouragement, you program your mind to seek opportunities rather than obstacles. Marcus Aurelius wrote in his journal, "Be like a rock that waves crash against endlessly. It stands firm, while the waters around it calm." Your controlled words can be that rock for others. In a world of hasty reactions, your calm speech becomes a source of strength and peace. Here's a method to transform your relationships in just 7 days. Before speaking in tense situations, take 3 deep breaths. With the first, ask yourself what you're feeling. With the second, consider the other person's emotions. With the third, choose words that benefit everyone involved. The beauty of mastering your words is that it creates a positive cycle. When you speak with intention, others respond differently. They listen more closely, trust you more, and seek your guidance. This isn't manipulation. It's the natural result of becoming someone worth listening to. But the greatest power of mastering your words lies in how it shapes your relationship with yourself. Each time you keep a promise with your words, you build trust in yourself. Each time you speak kindly about yourself, you reshape your self-image. Each time you refuse to gossip or complain, you focus your energy on what you can control. Remember that your words don't just convey thoughts, they shape them. When you consistently speak with wisdom, gratitude, and purpose, your mind naturally aligns with those patterns. You become what you repeatedly say. The gateway of your speech bridges your inner world with the outer one. By mastering this gateway, you control the flow of energy in both directions. Tomorrow, we'll explore how this principle applies to your inner emotional world. Affirm this. Daily, I speak with purpose, not fleeting emotion. Next, mastering your emotions, the weather of your inner self. Imagine waking each morning with someone else deciding the climate of your mind. Some days, they choose a storm of anger, others a fog of sadness, and occasionally, if you're fortunate, a glow of happiness. Many live their emotional lives this way, entirely swayed by external events. But here's a truth the Stoics discovered over 2,000 Years ago, you are not a victim of your emotions. You are their creator. Viktor Frankl, a Holocaust survivor and psychologist, endured years in Nazi concentration camps. In the worst of circumstances, he uncovered a truth akin to Stoic wisdom. Between an event and your response lies a space. In that space is your power to choose how you react. Within that choice lies your growth and freedom. Consider that space right now. As you hear these words, it exists between every event and your emotional response. In that brief moment, you have the power to choose. The Stoics called this the discipline of desire. It's not about suppressing wants, but valuing what you have, accepting what you cannot change, and diligently working on what you can. When you master this, your emotions become a finely tuned instrument you play, not a wild storm that controls you. Here's a surprising truth. Emotions are not facts. They are interpretations. When someone doesn't reply to your message, the situation is neutral. Your mind creates a story they're ignoring you. They're upset, or they don't care. But what if you told a different story? Perhaps they're busy, their phone died, or they're planning something special for you. Marcus Aurelius practiced this daily. He wrote, "You have power over your mind, not external events. Realize this, and you will find strength." Each morning, he reminded himself that the day would bring challenges, difficult people, and unexpected events. Instead of dreading them, he saw them as opportunities to practice emotional mastery. Try this exercise now. Think of something that recently upset you. Ask yourself, what story am I telling about this situation? Then ask, is there another way to see it? Finally, which perspective serves me best? The magic happens when you realize you've been the author of your emotional experiences all along. You just didn't know you were writing the story. Mastering your emotions isn't about forced positivity or pretending everything is fine. It's about choosing responses that strengthen you rather than drain you. When you feel anger, instead of suppressing or exploding, you can channel it into positive change. When sad, instead of sinking, you can let it connect you to compassion for others. The Stoics practiced a powerful habit called evening reflection. Each night, they reviewed their day, asking, what emotions did I feel today? Which ones served me? Which ones controlled me? How can I respond better tomorrow? When you practice mastering your emotions, this happens. You no longer fear your emotions because you know you can guide them. You don't avoid difficult situations because you trust your ability to handle your feelings. You become a pillar of calm for others, making you invaluable in relationships and work. Emotions are signals, not commands. Anger signals something matters to you. Fear prompts you to pay attention. Sadness shows you've lost something valuable. But no emotion should dictate your actions. Your emotions are like the weather within you. Like a skilled meteorologist, you can learn to predict, prepare, and even influence them. Share below if you're ready to take charge of your emotional world. Affirm, I guide my emotions, they don't control me. Next, mastering your finances, the tool of true freedom. Money is more than currency, it's energy, time, and choices crystallized. How you manage money determines whether you live freely or remain enslaved to your desires. Seneca, one of Rome's wealthiest men, wrote, "The poor man is not he who has too little, but he who craves more." This wasn't just philosophy for him, it was a way of life. Despite his wealth, Seneca practiced intentional simplicity, sleeping on the floor and eating basic meals to remind himself that happiness doesn't depend on luxury. Here's a hard truth. If you can't control your spending, you can't control your life. Every purchase is a step toward freedom or a step back into chains. There's no middle ground. Yet, mastering money isn't about being stingy or denying joy. It's about aligning your spending with your values and using money as a tool, not letting it rule you. When you buy out of boredom, loneliness, or to impress, money controls you. When you spend on things that truly enhance your life or help you serve others, you're the one in charge. The Stoics had a concept called preferred indifference. Things nice to have, but not defining your worth or happiness. Money falls in this category. It's better to have it, but it must never become your master. Think of the last impulse purchase you made. That item, gathering dust at home, unused. In that moment, what were you really buying? Was it the item? Or were you chasing a feeling, status, comfort, excitement, or approval? Here's a method to transform your relationship with money. Before buying anything non-essential, pause and ask, what am I truly seeking? If it's an emotion or experience, find a way to achieve it without spending first. Often, you'll realize you don't need to buy anything at all. But mastering money goes beyond controlling spending. It's about creating value. The Stoics believed in contributing to the greater good. When you focus on serving others through your work, money becomes a natural outcome, not the primary goal. This shift in perspective transforms how you earn and spend. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "When you rise reluctantly in the morning, remember, you're waking for the work of a human being. When you view work as service, not just a means to earn, you approach it with excellence, and financial rewards follow naturally." Here's what changed my financial life. I began tracking not just where my money went, but how I felt after spending. I used 3 columns: what I bought, why I bought it, and how it felt afterward. What I discovered was eye-opening. Purchases that brought lasting satisfaction, aligned with my values, books that expanded my mind, time with loved ones, tools that helped me serve others better. Impulse buys for status or fleeting emotions left me feeling empty or regretful. This simple habit brought clarity to my spending in a way no budgeting app could. Mastering money also means understanding the difference between assets and liabilities. Every dollar you spend should maintain or increase your ability to earn and serve others. When you think this way, you naturally build wealth instead of just consuming. The goal isn't to hoard money, but to gain enough freedom to be generous, take calculated risks, and make decisions based on what's right, not what you can afford. Next, mastering your mind, the command center. Your mind is like a garden. Every thought you nurture is a seed you plant. The question is, what harvest do you want right now? As you listen, thousands of thoughts compete for your attention: worries about tomorrow, regrets about yesterday, judgments about what you're hearing, plans for today. Most people live their entire lives as passive observers in this mental chaos. Unaware, they can choose which thoughts deserve their energy. Epictetus taught that true wealth lies not in owning many things, but in having few wants. He wasn't just talking about material wealth. He meant wealth of the soul. When you stop entertaining every thought that knocks at your mind's door, you gain immense peace and focus. Consider this. You wouldn't let a stranger enter your home and disrupt everything. Yet, you allow random thoughts to enter your mind and unsettle your emotions. A single negative thought can ruin your day if you let it linger. The Stoics developed a practice called prosoche, constant attention to the present moment and vigilant monitoring of your thoughts. This isn't meditation as we think of it today. It's like being a gatekeeper for your mind, deciding which thoughts are allowed in and which are turned away. Here's an exercise to transform your life immediately. Over the next week, when you catch yourself in a spiral of negative thoughts, pause and ask, does this thought help or harm me? Does it bring me closer to who I want to be or push me further away? If it's not helpful, replace it with a more constructive thought. Mastering your mind isn't about forced optimism or ignoring problems. It's about choosing thoughts that build you up rather than tear you down. Instead of thinking, this is awful and I'm helpless, try, this is a challenge. What's the best way to address it? The same situation, a completely different mental experience. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The universe is always changing. Our life is what our thoughts make it." He knew that while he couldn't control Rome's enemies, political plots, or even his own mortality, he held supreme authority over his mind's kingdom. Your mind constantly spins stories about what things mean. Someone doesn't smile at you, and your mind crafts a tale of rejection, traffic jams, and it jumps to being late and everything falling apart. Your boss calls you in, and you imagine trouble. But here's your power. You can rewrite those stories right now. That person might be facing their own struggles. Traffic is a chance to practice patience or listen to something enriching. The meeting with your boss could be good news. The Stoics called this the discipline of judgment, separating facts from the stories we tell ourselves about them. The fact is, it's raining. The story is, this rain ruins my day. When you master this distinction, you become unshakable because your emotional state no longer depends on external events. Try this now. Think of something stressing you lately. Separate the facts from the story you're telling about them. You'll be amazed how much stress comes from the story, not the facts. Your mind is also a powerful tool for solving problems when guided correctly. Instead of letting it run wild with worry, give it specific challenges to tackle. Instead of asking, what if everything goes wrong? Ask, what's the best way to handle this situation? Your mind thrives on challenges, but needs clear direction from you. Remember, every thought you entertain shapes the person you're becoming. You are crafting yourself moment by moment. Declare, I am the architect of my mind, to claim your power. Something remarkable happens when you begin mastering these 4 areas. They don't just change individually, they create a ripple effect, transforming your entire life. Like tuning a musical instrument. When one string is perfectly aligned, the others sound better too. When you master your words, people seek your counsel because your words carry weight and wisdom. When you master your emotions, you become a beacon of calm others turn to in turmoil. When you master your finances, you gain the freedom to make choices based on values, not survival. When you master your mind, you see opportunities where others see only obstacles. The true magic lies in the interplay of these 4 pillars. Let me share Sarah's story. A single mother who attended one of my workshops last year. She arrived overwhelmed, struggling with debt, snapping at her children, anxious about the future, and trapped in negative thoughts that kept her awake at night. 6 months later, Sarah sent me a message that moved me deeply. By applying these principles, she not only paid off her credit card debt, but also launched a small side business. Her relationships with her children transformed as she learned to speak with love instead of frustration. Most importantly, she said she felt like herself again, calm, confident, and in control. The beauty of Stoic philosophy is its upward spiral. Each small victory in one area builds confidence to tackle challenges in others. When you control your words during a heated moment, you prove you can manage your emotions. When you resist an emotional purchase, you strengthen the mental discipline to counter negative thoughts. Aristotle said, "We are what we repeatedly do. Excellence is not an act, but a habit." The Stoics went further, understanding that mastery in these 4 areas creates a powerful synergy. Each day of practice not only improves that day, but makes future days easier. Reflect on who you were 6 months ago. What struggles did you face now? Imagine who you could become in 6 months if you consistently apply these principles. The gap between your current and future self is smaller than you think. It's just a series of small daily choices. You don't need to master all 4 areas at once. Trying to do so often leads to frustration and giving up. Instead, choose one area that resonates most with you right now and focus on it for the next 30 days. Progress in that area will naturally lift the others. The Stoics believed in sympathia, the deep interconnectedness of all things. Your inner work benefits not just you, but everyone around you. Better control of your words reduces tension in relationships. Managing emotions creates a peaceful environment for your family. Wise spending sets an example of financial responsibility for your children. When you steer your thoughts toward positivity, you become a source of solutions, not problems. Perhaps the deepest impact is how mastery changes your relationship with challenges. Instead of seeing difficulties as things happening to you, you view them as opportunities to grow stronger. Every tough conversation is a chance to practice controlling your words. Every stressful moment is an opportunity to master your emotions. Every financial decision is a lesson in wisdom with money. Every worry is a moment to redirect your mental energy. Share below if you're ready to turn challenges into strength. Affirm, every challenge is my chance to grow stronger. We began with Epictetus, who rose from physical slavery to a teacher of spiritual freedom. His secret wasn't changing his circumstances, but mastering himself within them. Today, you face the same choice he did over 2,000 years ago. You understand that true freedom isn't about having endless options, but consistently choosing the right ones. You see that your words, emotions, money, and mind aren't separate parts of life. They're interconnected pillars that support or hinder your growth. What I want you to remember most is that this journey isn't about becoming perfect. It's about living with intention. Each time you pause before speaking, you strengthen your control over your words. Each time you choose how to respond to a difficult emotion, you build your emotional resilience. Each time you align your spending with your values, you cultivate financial wisdom. Each time you redirect a negative thought, you reinforce your mental strength. The ancient Stoics faced wars, plagues, political turmoil, and personal tragedies. Their lives weren't easy, but they possessed something more valuable. They had an inner strength forged by mastering these 4 fundamental areas. That same strength awaits you. Your transformation begins with a single choice to take responsibility for your inner world. Not because life is fair, it isn't, Not because it's easy, it won't be, but because you deserve to live in command of your own experience, not as a victim of circumstances. 6 months from now, you could be the same person with the same struggles. Or you could be someone who has learned to live with wisdom, resolve, and inner strength. The choice is yours, and the time to decide is now. Recall Epictetus's words, "No one can harm you unless you allow it." Today, you revoke that permission. Today, you begin a journey from impulsive reactions to thoughtful responses, from chaos to control, from captivity to freedom. The 4 pillars of mastery are within your reach. Your future self is waiting for you to act, somewhere in the eternal realm of ideas. The ancient Stoics are cheering you on. Take the first step today. Start now. If this message resonates with you, show your support. Share it with someone who needs to hear it. Write your commitment in the comments and stay engaged for more life-changing wisdom. Your journey to mastery begins here. Declare this final affirmation in the comments. Today, I choose mastery over mediocrity, intention over reaction, and freedom over being bound by circumstances.